All right, welcome back to the episode of Beer, Bacon, and Bros. Tonight we got Adam, we got Chris, we got Keith. We're back for our week 3 of college football pick'ems so far. Keith, taking the lead. Still leading. Hadn't lost 10 games yet. Big boy's sitting there on the 9. He needs a perfect week here not to get into double-digit losses, but he's got a 2-game lead on Adam and I, and then ultimately a 3-game lead on Alex, who's trailing us very tightly. So
Alex likes to go out and take those big, deep sleepers.
Hey, well, I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be a difficult week for us.
Yeah, this one is a little crazy this week.
So, right now we are looking at week 3 college football, and we got some games that are going to be tight. So, what I've found this week, not a whole lot of big name teams.
He's trying to make it hard on us.
So we found some tight lines. So we of course have College Game Day at the very end with Colorado State, but the rest of these other 9 are going to be some pretty tight lies. So here we are, first game of the week for us. We got Kansas State, Missouri. Kansas State, number 15 in the country, 2-0, going to 2-0 Missouri. This is a nooner on Saturday. And I want to say Kansas is just a 4.5-point favorite at the moment.
Let's see if I can pull it up since you're having a little difficulty there.
Yeah, we're having some computer having a mind of its own right now.
I'm going to go with the SEC here. I'm going to say Missouri and Eli Drinkowitz can get it done at home.
Okay.
And to confirm, it is a 4.5-point spread for
that's what I thought.
For K-State.
I'm going to take Missouri here and go out and take the underdog, like I said, in Missouri. I think they can get it done at home. They seem to give people trouble at home. Other than that, if this was on the road, completely different story.
Yeah, that's not a terrible take, honestly. I like Kansas State. I think people have really kind of taken them. Obviously, Texas now looks like the lead for the Big 12.
Absolutely.
With that upset of Alabama, but Kansas State has some spunk to them right now. I felt like Missouri
is swagger.
Yeah, I feel like Missouri's basically played nobody. Yes, they're 2-0, but yes, they've also played nobody. So for me, give me Kansas State. I do think it's going to be that tight a game. I do think it's going to be close to the 4.5, 5 points. But I think K-State can pull it off.
Yeah, I'm going to take K-State as well. I think K-State's got the. I think ultimately they're the better team. I think they're going to come out and kind of embarrass the SEC a little bit.
Okay.
Of course, the SEC's been getting embarrassed a lot over the last couple weeks. So.
Yeah.
So
I will say it hasn't been the start that I think the SEC's probably wanted, but
yeah. So I'm gonna go K-State on that one.
Okay. Sliding into game 2 over here, we have I messed up game 2. So sliding into game 2, we got UNC Minnesota in North Carolina. North Carolina a 7.5-point favorite on this one.
I'm going to take somebody who I think should be, a Heisman candidate in Drake May.
Yeah.
And the North Carolina Tar Heels. Mac Brown's a great coach. I think you saw what the North Carolina defense can be, very effective against. You saw what they did against South Carolina.
Yeah, but then we saw what they did against App State.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you saw both sides of the coin.
Absolutely,
I think you saw them at what they truly
what they can be, and then
versus when you have an off week against
right.
App State.
Right.
So if you play better than you did against App State if you play better than what you did against Carolina, you're going to win. I think handedly. But even if you play a little bit worse than that, but better than what you did against App State, I think UNC walks away with it.
Yeah. This is a really interesting game for me because I think you've seen the PJ Fleck model over his years in Minnesota has been ground and pound, possession, play defense, try and get the other team to turn the ball over, win the turnover battle, and then don't make any really mistakes on defense or special teams. So he plays a style of game where he can upset big opponents, and so North Carolina obviously has to be very cautious in the turnover game or turnover part of the game for them. So I think North Carolina is more closer to the way they played against South Carolina than they were the way they played against App State last week, obviously going into double overtime. So I will take North Carolina because I'm with you. I like the quarterback situation. They're starting a sophomore there at Minnesota, and I have no idea how to say his name, but I've watched him for 2 weeks now, and he does not look that good. So give me the way of Drake May.
Yeah, I'm going to be the same. I'm going to follow suit. I'm going to take Drake May as well and the Tar Heels.
No.
I think well, it's like you said, you've hit the nail on the head with the quarterback play. I just think it's a better quarterback play with Drake May over the sophomore at Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, speaking of App State, they are on our third game here. So East Carolina, App State, in App State. This is probably the biggest spread you're going to get on the whole weekend right here. 9.5 for App State at home. They're 1-1, obviously beating Gardner-Webb, lost to UNC. East Carolina started the season 0-2. Obviously, playing Michigan week 1 is not the way you want to start your season.
No.
But then a home loss against Marshall where they kind of got embarrassed a little bit.
I would say. I'll take the reins on this. I think I'm going to go App State. I think App State showed what kind of team they are last week by taking North Carolina to double overtime. You know, with a Heisman quality quarterback in Drake May, making him look kind of, I wouldn't say silly, but just making him look like not so much like the quarterback that people look at him to be. So I'm gonna go App State.
Yeah. I'm joining him, yeah. So I was going to say I'm going to take App State, but I'm going to let you go. Yeah.
Yes, I'm taking App State as well. More so of I chose to play fantasy college football this week. No, but I do think seeing what they did last week against North Carolina puts a really good feeling into the App State, and you get them at home. And again, ECU's on a 2-game slide right now. Just hasn't looked great over 2 weeks. And again, but you pointed out, they played number 2 Michigan. Yeah. You wouldn't expect them to win that game.
Well, they did hold Michigan to 30 points, though. So, I mean, they didn't allow Michigan to go over 30, which isn't bad. But, you know.
But, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't expect them to win that game. But also, you expected to give Marshall a better showing than what you did.
Yeah.
And so I think they're kind of just in a little funk right now.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a little torn on it. I don't know which App State is real, because this App State doesn't seem as explosive as they had with Chase Bryce last year, right? They had a better quarterback. This App State seems kind of very balanced, but also like trying to take its shot in explosive plays. And they've converted a lot of them early in the season, right? So I mean, all of a sudden you have 1 week where you're not converting these explosive plays, and you may struggle in a game. So maybe it's a little bit closer than the 9.5, but I just at home, Boone, North Carolina. It's a cool stadium, cool place to play.
Small
good
stadium,
atmosphere.
gets packed, gets really loud.
Yeah, it's really passionate.
It's gonna be rocking in Boone.
So give me App State on that as well. The big SEC game of the week: Florida, Tennessee. Number 11 Tennessee 2-0. Florida 1-1. Down the Swamp. This is a 7:00 night game there in the Swamp. Tennessee only a 6.5 point favorite here.
I'm going to take Joe Milton and Tennessee. I feel like they have enough explosive plays coming out of the quarterback position that they can make it happen and get things done in Florida. So yeah, I'll take the Vols here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tennessee as well. I'm gonna take old Rocky Top as much as I don't like to, but I don't like Florida either. So, but I'm gonna go with Tennessee. Like Adam said, I think Joe Milton's gonna be the key part of this, and I think just Milton and his ability to create plays is gonna be the difference maker in this game.
It's going to be hard. I really think that Florida has played, even for as ugly as they looked on offense against Utah, I thought they actually looked pretty good on defense, especially in that second half against Utah. So it's been kind of a wear for me this week with this, because it's a little bit like, what Tennessee team's going to show up, right? I mean, Tennessee's had it pretty easy to start the season. A garbage Virginia team at home. Austin Peay at home, which they've struggled with all the way to the fourth quarter.
They struggled with Virginia for a little bit too. So
yeah, I mean, can they go on the road to a really nasty environment in Gainesville, Georgia? Which
Florida.
Sorry, it's Gainesville, Florida. say what you want about Florida and where their program's at. That the Swamp is still the Swamp.
Yeah,
no, I would agree.
Very difficult place to play.
But I think turnovers are another huge thing, and what does it look like for this game? And I'll take Tennessee. It's so hard when you look at it on paper. Like, how do you take Florida? But there's a sneaky feeling in my gut about this one. This could be an upset this weekend.
It definitely could go either way. When you're looking at the SEC, especially when you're playing a rivalry opponent at home, it could always go either way.
Yeah.
But I just personally think with, like Adam touched on already with Joe Milton, I just think Joe Milton's going to be the key in that game. I just think he's going to play a cleaner game than Mertz.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's kind of like I said, the turnovers can be the difference. This is going to be it for Joe Milton, right? Like Tennessee's going to find out when they really got Joe Milton.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
if this was a noon game, I feel like I'd feel different about it. I'd probably easily take Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But a night game in the Swamp, man, like it's going to be.
Well, then you give Joe Milton that entire day to sit around that stadium and listen to everything and hear it. Yeah, it's just gonna. I mean, it could definitely mess with your head. So.
All right, a nice tight one here in the Sun Belt. JMU and Troy kicking 7 o'clock. Troy, Alabama, obviously. Troy is actually a 3-point favorite at home against JMU this week. JMU did beat Virginia at Virginia by 1 last week. Troy obviously played Kansas State, good Kansas State team on the road, and took their first loss.
I think I'm going to take JMU here. I like what Troy has done the last 2 seasons, couple years. I think they have really become a good team, but I think JMU is just as good, if not better than Troy over the last few games. And I think coming into the year, they had a good ending to their season last year. They've shown it coming out and doing well so far this year. I think they're just a program as a whole right now. They're just in a really good place.
Yeah, This was tough, man. This was really tough. I like Troy having the home field advantage, but it's also you look at the JMU team. They went on the road to Virginia last week and beat Virginia, right? So they've proven that they can do it.
Let's be honest, Virginia's not that great.
No, they're really not. But oh man, this sucks.
This is a hard one. This is a tough one to choose.
They're very similar on offense too, which is I think what makes this a little bit more difficult. I'm going to take Troy. I'm going to take the home field advantage here. I feel like this is going to be a really nice tight game. That 3-point line is very accurate here, so could swing either way. Three either way for me. I certainly think JMU can win it, but
yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Trojans as well. I think Troy being at home. Troy coming off of that tough loss is going to find a bounce back and improve themselves again this week.
Yeah. All right, another nice Sun Belt Conference matchup. We got Louisiana. Well, they're not Lafayette anymore. Sorry, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns of the Sun Belt. UAB of the American Athletic Conference. UAB a 2.5-point favorite. Sorry, at home in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, both teams going off losses here.
Yeah, Old Dominion and Georgia Southern, both teams were on the road. Both won week 1.
I'm going to take UAB here. I don't know. Nothing is standing out about them this year. I had them last year and thought they played really, really well.
Yeah.
I think they were able to.
They had a great running attack last year.
Yeah, I think they were able to hold on to the running back. But I'm going to take UAB here.
Oh, I own a UAB in the fantasy league this year. Quarterback, they look really good. Everywhere else, they don't look great. And so,
there's holes everywhere.
Yeah, there's just holes in the skill positions around the quarterback. So, I'll take the Lost Cajuns here, just because I think they're able to still come on the road and run the football really effectively. They've been very, very good over the last couple of years of running the football, especially out of the shotgun. And so I like their chances of coming in, maybe quieting down this environment in Birmingham a little bit, getting a possession or two in, and being effective on the ground.
I'm going to go with UAB. I think I'm going to take the...
I think I'll be the only one with the Lost Cajuns then. All right.
Then we go UAB on that one.
That's not going to be great.
Bet against one of us.
Yeah. North Texas and Louisiana Tech, 2 teams that have been on 2 different spectrums so far. Obviously, Hank Bachmeier, you can probably remember from Boise State, has not looked as good as I think he'd probably want to be for Louisiana Tech so far. North Texas, a team that a lot of people had some hype around, really, really not playing well right now. So
got blown out by Cal and then had a really embarrassing game against FIU too.
Yeah, an FIU team that is not very good, and all of a sudden here we are. So FIU, obviously, La Tech played FIU in the very first game of the season, came away with a 22-17 win at home, lost to SMU, won again against Northwest whatever state. pair, but in
Northwest State.
yeah, I guess I don't even know who that is right there. NWST. So La Tech 2-1, North Texas 0-2. This one here at Joe Alt Stadium in Ruston, Louisiana. Yeah,
So
I have no idea where La Tech's at.
I'll take La Tech here. I'll take them at home. If you got a comparable game here. You both played FIU. One is beat them, one is not.
Yeah.
And like you said, North Texas has not looked great over the last 2 weeks.
They have not looked
So
great.
unless there's been a new spark lit this week, I think they'll continue on that same trend this week. So give me La Tech to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go La Tech as well. I think Adam hit all the major points there. You know, they both. You're gonna die on the sword.
I really am. I mean, this
You
is
know,
like
keep
this is
leaving
like
it.
this is like North Carolina 2 years ago. Like I know this team's good. I've seen it on paper. I've seen the transfers. I've seen the hype. Like I know North Texas is good.
Just put it
They
together.
just gotta put it together.
So why not let them prove it to you before you take them?
Seriously.
Because then I'm wrong. Then I'm wrong with La Tech, and we're all wrong. So maybe I'm the
Yeah,
one
but
who
it,
gets
but
it right.
it doesn't hurt you at that point. This is gonna hurt you.
Yeah, we'll find out. So
You'll be eating that chip again.
yeah. I will say this about the differential. So the FIU La Tech game, obviously in La Tech, FIU North Texas game in FIU. So they did have to go on the road, lost a close game. So I think the big thing for North Texas hasn't been the disappointment of offense, it's been the disappointment of defense, right? So I mean, they put up 21 on Cal, they put up 39 on FIU, but their defense has given up 58 and 46 so far. So maybe, some adjustments happen on defense. Hank Bachmeier has been a guy that has proven he can turn the football over. So maybe they win the turnover battle here.
I'm gonna still see that trend of the 50-point games continue in this.
Yeah, probably. So, big one here for the ACC and Big Ten: Syracuse and Purdue. Syracuse 2-0, Purdue 1-1. Purdue with that early season loss to Fresno State, then picked up a win at Virginia Tech. Syracuse a win over Colgate and Western Michigan, two very unimpressive teams. Syracuse one of the two teams to be in the top 10 in offensive scoring and defensive scoring this season.
Syracuse always has a good defense, though. Them in Boston College always have sneaky good defenses.
Yeah.
And I think what helps Syracuse this year, too, is they got Schrader back at quarterback.
Yeah.
They lost the big-time running back, but they got Schrader back, who was a load to bring down.
Yeah.
Big arm, big talent.
Didn't they lose? Was it Witherspoon? What was the corner?
The corner's
Yes.
gone.
Yeah.
No, that was Illinois.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
at Illinois,
Yeah.
not Syracuse. But
Then-
you're thinking of Sean Tucker, who's actually with the Tampa Bay Bucks now. So
Correct. The quarter,
Yeah,
or the
the
running
running
back, the running back.
yeah,
that went.
extremely talented.
But they still have the big name quarterback in Schrader. So I'm gonna go with the orange here.
Okay. Both teams have good quarterbacks. I'll say that. I think Hudson Card, the transfer from Texas, obviously Schrader, the transfer from Mississippi State. Both teams kind of in a little bit of an offensive funk. I think they both kind of needed to get through a couple of weeks to figure out how to be super explosive. But Syracuse, a 2.5-point favorite on the road. This tells you that Vegas clearly looks at Syracuse's first two games and says you played nobody, right?
Yeah. Which I think.
Yeah, but that's typically any Power 5 conference. Any Power 5 conference team is going to play nobody in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah. Give me. This is tough. Give me Purdue. I'm gonna stay the trend of the opposite side here. So, give me Purdue here, pulling the upset at home. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna take Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they get it done. I think they're just a little bit better all around team. I don't know. I hadn't been too much impressed with Purdue this year, unlike last year. So.
Yeah. I think there's an explosive offense in there for Purdue. They just got to find it. So Hudson Card's a good quarterback. All right, one of the best rivalries that nobody ever talks about every year. We got New Mexico State, New Mexico. In New Mexico this year, New Mexico is a 1.5-point favorite at home. Albuquerque, New Mexico, obviously, and a couple of, I'll say, underperforming teams. Texas A&M blew out New Mexico, then they went and run around and beat Tennessee Tech. New Mexico State lost to UMass, won against whoever the WIU is, and then lost to Liberty to start conference play last week.
Give me New Mexico. Give me the Lobos.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
New Mexico State is very historically a bad team. So
Well, I was about to say, seeing that UMass was projected to be like a 130 out of 132, and New Mexico State's projected like 129. So neither team are great there, but still, it was one of those games that you should have won against UMass because I don't
it's
know
UMass.
exactly. But so give me New Mexico.
Here comes New Mexico State.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, might
Chris,
as well.
Chris is gonna go down this week.
Yeah, might as well. We'll see what happens. So I can promise you, we're all taking the last team. So
Yeah.
But so I'll take New Mexico State. No particular reason. I mean, neither one of these teams obviously
Just try to be different.
puts up anything that you look at and say, hey, this person is the reason it's going to be different. I mean, these are not good teams. Let's be clear about that. These are
What are
two
talking about,
teams.
man? Those are national championship caliber teams. Man.
Those are two teams that are going to be happy to win 4 games this year.
Correct.
So one of them just happens to come between each other. But last game of the week, College Game Day, we always do it. So Colorado State, Colorado. Obviously, Colorado number 18 in the country, 2-0. Colorado State 0-1 so far. The one game was against Washington State, so Wazoo beat them 50-24, and then of course Colorado has beaten.
How's Colorado State only played one game?
Yeah, they played in week 1 and didn't play in week 2, I guess.
They bye game.
They had bye week 2.
Guess so.
Hey,
I think you got a lot of the hot hand here. I think you got a lot of the way with Colorado right now.
Coach Prime, baby.
has been able to prove it 2 weeks in a row that he means business.
No, Shador Sanders has proven it 2 weeks in a row that he belongs in the Power 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter has proved that he can play both ways. He can do it. Sanders can do it. Prime has put together a really good team there in Colorado. I think
Which is amazing considering how many transfers they brought into that program
yes.
this
So
year.
I think a lot of people. I think his guys have bought into his system. So I think he's done very well of putting this together.
They bought into that prime mentality.
Yep. So I again, until something falters, give me
Next
Colorado.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. I'm with Adam on this. I think what's it like surprised me the most is how quickly this Colorado team has excelled. Like, I really thought early in the season, the TCU game was clearly going to be a loss. I thought they had a chance to beat Nebraska because we all know who Marcus Satterfield is. But, I thought early they would win a couple games, and then it would take some time for them to gel, get together. They are playing lights out right now offensively. And
Well, their defense showed up against Nebraska. I mean, their defense played very well against Nebraska.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it is Nebraska, like you said, it's the fighting Marcus Satterfields who can't, find a wet paper bag.
No.
But they still showed up and played very well against what is historically a good Nebraska team.
Yeah. I think the thing that has faltered for Colorado so far is the run game, right? I mean, they're averaging 56 yards a game on the ground. Now, what lines up with Colorado State's defense, right? Colorado State's defense, they're only allowing 90 yards on the ground. They're also allowing 466 yards through the air, where Colorado's putting up 453 a game. So that's why I think
feeds
Colorado
right into it.
Yeah, that's why I think Colorado feeds right into this 23-point line right here. And I mean, Shador Sanders, 900 yards and 6 touchdowns in the first 2
In
games.
2 games, and that was against a national championship TCU team from last year. Now, granted, it's not the same team, but it was a team that went to the national championship last year.
Yeah.
Out of the Big 12, and when do you ever see a team from the Big 12 have a defense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Very fair.
but yeah. So I think you already said we're all going Coach Prime here, but
Yeah, I mean,
I just think that's the team to ride until something goes down and.
well,
And even if even if they falter one game, it's gonna be like okay, but you played because who do they have next week? Is it USC?
USC and then Oregon.
yeah,
yeah.
USC and Oregon.
So,
So,
I mean,
you're definitely going to be seeing
Two potentially top 10 teams here. You wouldn't expect to win, but if you come out and play well against them, if you can make it close, you're like, all right, I get it. They should have beat you. They are the better team. But
you
can still play with anybody right
Well,
now.
and then for Coach Prime, to come out and be 3-0 going into that stretch of games.
Yeah.
I mean, no, like you said, we didn't think they were going to beat TCU. We thought they were going to cover, but we didn't think they were going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, for them to come that's just momentum for Coach Prime to go there. Like, look what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
We can continue to do this. There's nobody that can say we don't belong.
Yeah. So even if you do lose the next 2 weeks and come into week 6 3-2, you're like,
hey, that's a whole lot better than what they thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It starts to. I mean, it really at that point starts to look like a possible
7, 8,
yeah,
eight or nine
win
win,
season for them. So because that is the stretch. Those two right there with Oregon and
That's
and
the
Southern
biggest
Cal.
two.
That's the biggest two they're going to have. I mean, Oregon State, if they, I don't even know if they have Oregon State on the
Or
on the
Wazoo.
schedule.
Wazoo would be a tough one if they're at
Washington,
Wazoo.
Washington, yeah.
Yeah, Washington.
I don't think they play Washington. So
Okay.
I think the other one would be the Oregon State if they play them. So
But okay, well, that's our week 3 picks here on the show. As always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.